Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Happy Wednesday to everyone. Welcome to another telecast here on One News.
Right.
Oo, pandesal tayo ngayon. Pandesal.
And sopas.
Oo,
Para sa gloomy weather.
Ang dami daw nagtatanong,
Ano?
what was that yung press con about yesterday?
Oo. Di explain
Madami
mo.
nagpapanik na baka mawala ang brunch siya.
Explain mo.
Anyway, abangan na lang nila. Yan na naman talaga ang ano eh. Di ba?
Abangan niyo po, yeah. That will
Surprise,
be on-
hindi, surprise. We want to
surprise already.
Yeah, but we want to surprise everyone overall what it is kasi madami nagtatanong. Anyway, ba't
Okay,
parang
go.
skeptical ka?
No, go na.
Hindi, nagsasalita pa ako eh. Skeptical ka eh.
Go na. Okay.
Ay nako, we're serving you today's headlines.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Big changes at PhilHealth. Dr. Edwin Mercado, a U.S.-trained orthopedic surgeon, steps in as its new president and CEO. Here's the report.
President Bongbong Marcos has appointed Edwin Mercado, a U.S.-trained orthopedic surgeon, as the new president and chief executive officer of PhilHealth. He took his oath of office before President Marcos at Malacanang Palace on Tuesday, February 4. With over 35 years of experience in hospital management, Mercado brings a wealth of expertise to his new role. He earned his medical degree from the University of the Philippines and previously served as vice chairman of Mercado General Hospital and Qualimed Health Network. He also holds advanced degrees in global health and healthcare administration from Harvard Medical School and the University of North Carolina. In a statement, PhilHealth welcomed its new chief, expressing confidence that Mercado will effectively fulfill the organization's mandate. For his part, Health Secretary Ted Chodoro expressed optimism about working with Mercado. Former Finance Undersecretary Shelo Magno described Mercado's appointment as a welcome move but emphasized the need for a comprehensive review of the organization to improve efficiency.
Well, that's a welcome move because we've been calling for the removal of the president of PhilHealth. But in fact, not just the president, but the whole management of PhilHealth needs a revamp. I think it's very important to have a review of the organization of PhilHealth and the people who are working in PhilHealth because I don't think you can just parachute one person and expect that person to really fix all the problems of PhilHealth. Clearly, the problems of PhilHealth is bigger than just having an incompetent president.
Mercado replaces Emmanuel Ledesma Jr., who had served as PhilHealth's president since July 2023. For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
Yan, no? Kasi ang dami nagsasabi, di ba? Kung mali yung sistema ng PhilHealth, palitan niyo yung management. Ito, yung very smooth nga yung pagpapalit di ba? Parang wala tayong narinig prior to this Di ba? Nagulat na lang tayo, may nag-take na ng oath sa Office of the President. So, tingnan natin, no? Kakasimula pa lang yan, meron 35 years of experience sa management, hospital
But we have to
management.
remember in every corporate structure, the head can only do so much kasi ang head kasi ang strategic position niyan is yung overall growth ng company. In other words, yung malawak. Yung mga day-to-day details of operations, may problema din kasi ang PhilHealth yan.
Yes.
So anong klaseng revamp ang makikita natin down the line?
Yeah.
Oo, because vision, mission, di ba? Strategic planning, lahat yan sa boss. And mukhang qualified naman siya to give new directions. But how to implement his directions and his goals will have to do with how competent yung mga those sa mababa.
Ang dami kasi pinagdaanan ng PhilHealth or pinagdadaanan ngayon ng kontrobersiya ng PhilHealth bukod pa dun sa mga nakaraan ng mga bonuses sa mga bosses, 'di ba? Tapos nagkaroon tayo ng issue dito sa PhilHealth transfer ng excess funds supposedly na nagkaroon ng oral arguments kahapon nandoon yung mga petitioners kahapon. Pag-usapan din natin yan later on. And yung kanilang millions of pesos na budget para supposedly sa anniversary celebration nila, nagkaroon din ng issue. But moving forward now to another news, the maximum suggested retail price scheme on imported rice takes effect today. According to DA, the MSRP will be 55 pesos per kilogram from the current 58 pesos per kilo. It also noted that while the MSRP only caters to Metro Manila, this will be expanded to a nationwide coverage starting February 15. The agency is also looking to bring down the MSRP further to 49 pesos by March, provided that world prices remain stable.
Let's talk more about that with a farmers group.
We have with us via Zoom Mr. Leonardo Montemayor. He is the chairman of the Federation of Free Farmers, or FFFF, joining us, as I've said earlier, via Zoom. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Brunch. Thanks for joining us again.
Yes, good morning also, and thank you very much for this invitation.
Okay, sir, let's get right to it. What po is your reaction to the maximum suggested retail price on rice? Do you think this will be beneficial to at least the majority?
It will, at least for a certain period. But what strikes me is that the process has been too long. It has been too prolonged. In other words, it took time. If we are now in an emergency situation with respect to rice because of the extraordinary price increase, why, in the first place, why did it take us some time for the 58 pesos, the original 58 pesos MSRP to be put into effect? And then why wait for another few days, I think, or a week or so, for the 55 to be made the new MSRP? Dapat bilis-bilisan ito kasi ang sabi nga nila emergency eh.
Right.
So why are we allowing a longer period for it to take effect?
Pero ito pong sinasabi nila na pabababain pa no, yung after a week, they'll see kung ano yung magiging alagay ng merkado. Feasible pa rin pa po ba yung pababain, yung MSRP as promised by the DA?
We believe so. In fact, our own analysis shows that the MSRP should be around 51 eh. Kung talagang pinatutupad yung mga nakaraang mga policy issuances. For example, we had the case of the reduction of the tariff rates on imported rice. That was way back in July of 2024. And we were all being told at that time by our economic managers that because the tariff rates were cut by 20%, we should have expected as early as August of last year a 7 pesos reduction in the retail price of rice. It has not happened since 2024 July. So why can't it be finally executed now? And then remember, yung pong world market price ng bigas since around November or December last year, bumaba po ng malaki eh. So much so that 51, baka pwede pang gawing 49 eh. So again, nandyan naman yung ebidensya po eh. Nandyan po yung policy, pasado na. Nandyan po yung movement po ng international price of rice, it's going down. So bakit hindi na ipatupad kung talagang emergency tayo ngayon?
Sir, gaano po ba kalaki yung impact nito? No? Kasi ito nga, nakikita nila na para maibsan nga daw yung presyo ng imported na rice dito sa atin, mapababa yung mga presyo ng bigas natin. Gaano po ba kalaki yung impact nito sa tingin nyo sa pag-control ng prices nitong ng imported rice? And what other means pa ba dapat yung gawin natin?
Well, yung pong MSRP, siyempre, it will be, I think, a nationwide maximum suggested retail price. It will have some impact. Kaya lang, wala kasi yatang sanctions eh. Walang parusa. Pag sinabi mo, kasi suggested eh.
Yeah.
Okay. However, there is a new development. Di ba, noong lang February 3, itong nakarang Monday, nagpalabas si Secretary Laurel ng DA ng declaration of a food security emergency. Oo. And then this now allows the National Food Authority to release its stocks. Ibebenta po nila ng 33 pesos per kilo sa mga LGUs na handang mag-participate sa programa. Ang kondisyon, dapat i-resell ng LGU sa kanilang constituents not more than 35 per kilo. That will have a dampening effect on the price of rice, especially dun sa mga kadiwa stores, di ba? At saka yung LGUs and even government-owned and controlled corporations that will be reselling that rice. But as to how long will the moderation of rice prices be, and how many consumers will actually benefit, it depends also on the volume of rice that will be released by the NFA and how long will the government be able to afford the subsidy or the losses kasi bawat bawat kilo po ng bigas na ibebenta po ng NFA at 33 or 35, ang lugi po ng gobyerno po natin up to 15 pesos per kilo.
Yes, that's right.
So by the
Medyo
billions of
mataas yan,
pesos po magiging budgetary subsidy or
That's right.
pagkalugi.
But Sir Leonardo, looking at all these measures that are in place, ang dami nagsasabi, these are but temporary solutions to a problem that's been existing for a long time. Ang dami nagsasabi, kailangan daw natin i-address kung paano pataasin daw kita ng farmers mismo, pababain natin yung kita ng middleman. In that way, we will get a real and sustainable way to control the prices of rice. Ano po ang take nyo dito?
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, on the other side of the coin is our consumers will have a brief period of relief, di ba? Because of the MSRP at saka itong pagbenta po ng NFA rice at subsidized rice. But on the reverse side, ang harvest po natin, yung tawag na palaga dry season crop, will start this month. Probably to on 10th of February. Pagka binenta po kasi yung bigas ng 35 through the LGUs, ang magiging kwan po niyan, effect niyan sa palay buying price ng mga traders, sa farmers natin ay 17 to 18 pesos po ang bili ng palay. Kung yan po ang presyo na at which farmers will have to pay, will have to sell that palay, siguro at least half of them lugi. Lugi po sa kanilang pagsasaka. And unless government steps in order to give additional support for the next cropping cycle, I'm afraid that many farmers will either stop planting muna or they will cut down their production efforts. Kasi lugi na So baka magpatuloy yung lugi nila. So it will have an effect now on possibly, reducing our palay production sa coming sa coming planting season. That's I said on the reverse side.
Parang either way, ang affected pa rin talaga always are farmers, di ba?
Opo, kasi there are two sides There is the production side, the farmer side, and then the consumer side.
But what can we do, sir, to address this issue sa mga farmers natin? Kasi we've encountered a lot of farmers along the way sa mga reports namin na would rather do something else or yung mga anak nila would rather get other jobs sa Metro Manila kaysa ipagpatuloy ang pagiging pagpa-plant nila tulad ng mga magulang nila. Do we have to address the elephant in the room? Maybe it's high time to modernize the systems in which the farmers, para tumaas ang yield nila, transfer technology to them. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, you're correct. We really have to do more on the production side. I mean, our local production. Ang problema, kulang na kulang pa rin yung budgetary support, di ba? And then what also compounds the situation as far as local producers are concerned is on the importation policies, nilulunod po yung ating merkado ng imported rice. So that really will bring down significantly yung presyo po ng palay sa ating magsasaka. So how to come out with a balance na we will focus really or prioritize local production, because we cannot really depend on external imports forever. At the same time, making sure that our consumers, especially yung pinakamahirap, may access naman po sa kanila yung affordable affordably priced rice. So that's the balancing act that has to be done.
Right. Mr. Montemayor, I want to go back lang po doon sa MSRP natin on imported rice. Yung iba po kasi na nagsasabi ang maigi to para sa mga consumers natin, pero yung mga maliliit na retailers, small retailers ng bigas, ang sabi nila will be greatly affected by this kasi maliit lang daw po yung kinikita nila, tas they have to bring down their prices.
Kaya nga po, I would presume na when the DA came out with this 58 initially, tapos may plano yata next month, going 55. They have been saying all along that this formula or this price was the result of very extensive consultations with various stakeholders, and presumably pati po yung ating retailers ay nakonsulta po sila.
So,
So, yan po. So, hindi naman po as if out of the air, kinuha po ng
Right.
DA yan. Opo. So, may basis naman po sila dapat.
yung usapin po pa rin po ng pagbaba ng taripa sa imported rice, na sinasabi nila that will help nga daw ang merkado ng bigas natin na makababa ng presyo. Pero unfortunately, we've seen naman po yung result. Hindi naman po nangyari yun. Your thoughts on that po? Dapat po ba ibalik sa 35 pesos, 30% yung taripa ng imported na bigas?
Yeah, we agree to that kasi wala naman palang naging kwan yan eh. Benepisyo sa atin eh. Walang benefit sa consumer because the rice prices remained high and that supposedly forced the DA to proclaim an emergency situation. It did not work. And then on the farmer side, tinamaan ng farmer as the NEDA came out, representative came out recently in one of the Quinta House Committee hearings, napababa pa nga nitong kwan. Tariff reduction ang presyo ng palay. And then thirdly, because the tariffs were cut by 20%, the collection of Bureau of Customs went down significantly. Nawala po sa collection ng customs about 15 billion since that tariff cut took effect in July of 2024. Na yun sanang 15 billion na yun, under the rice tarification law, it should have gone to our farmers to improve their production. And therefore, again, it would have helped also our consumers if they had more access to locally produced rice.
Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Thanks for joining us again, Mr. Leonardo Montemayor, ang ating presidente po or chairman of the Federation of Free Farmers. Thank you so much for joining us po.
My pleasure po and thank you for the invitation then.
Alright.
Meanwhile, the United States aid freeze has placed 39 development projects in the Philippines at risk. Among the affected initiatives are several programs funded by the United States Agency for International Development and the State Department. Of the 39 projects, 14 were set to conclude this year, while 25 were intended to continue until 2026 or even 2029. Before the freeze, the U.S. had committed $69.7 million in funding for these initiatives. Civil society organizations, including those advocating for LGBTQ+ rights and HIV prevention, are especially feeling the freeze's impact. Government agencies such as the Department of Education, which collaborates with USAID on various programs, are also facing uncertainty. Education Secretary Sani Angara hopes the Trump administration will see the value of these collaborative efforts.
Oo, marami-rami yan. 39 projects at saka from environmental project to pati yung farm education project daw maapektuhan doon. Pero sinasabi nila 90 days lang naman daw yung review.
Yes, kasi ang gagawin lang dito is titignan nila kung ano yung redundant. Parang sinabi ng, I don't remember which secretary ni Trump said, but they're going to see kasi baka naman, if they're redundant aid na nabibigay sa isang ahensya that has the same program and goal as another agency, baka naman one agency can just handle the money para mas efficient daw ang streamlining ng pera. So that's what the review is for kasi parang sinasabi nila the previous administration, parang kalat daw ang pagdi-disburse ng funding. So they wanna review that and they wanna make sure na yung mga initial funds na binigay ay nagamit sa tama.
O yun nga. Kaya lang kasi sinasabi nung iba, like yung mga grupo nga na nabanggit natin kanina dun sa report, yung mga LGBTQ, as most especially yung iba kasi based sa Mindanao, they will have to let go of the people. Kasi wala naman silang, wala naman talaga silang funding for that eh. Patanggalin mo yun, kahit i-freeze mo na 90 days, you have to let them go, walang separation pay. Na even if you say na 90 days naman ito, i-review, kung ibabalik or what, it's still now, sabi nila, things are crumbling na. Diba? Kumbaga, nahihirapan na sila ngayon pa lang.
No doubt na the impact on what the impact is on mga kababayan natin. Pero at the end of the day, the word aid.
Aid, tulong
that
kasi,
means it's tulong, di ba? So if I'm giving money, teka lang, can I review first?
Yan kasi yung nila, of course, dyan pa rin tayo pupunta doon sa sinasabi ng Amerika, ni President Donald Trump, yung America First lagi nila eh.
Can I review? Parang hindi man sinasabi totally cut off. But let me review first what I'm giving out, di ba? And then let's see how we could streamline everything. Pero We hope that things get resolved quickly para yung mga nahihirapan
Marami oo.
hindi na mahirapan na
Marami
totally.
yung mga maaapektuhan nito. Hasahanay pa lang ng DepEd, no? Sinabi through Secretary Angara yung ano kanila, ABC Plus or Advancing Basic Education in the Philippines, which is $47.5 million yung initiative nito, maapektuhan to. Yung gabay nila, Strengthening Inclusive Education for Blind and Deaf Children. Ang gastos dito ay 3.4 million na aid na ibinibigay. ILO or ILO PH, Improving Learning Outcomes for the Philippines, which is $5 million naman yung programa para dun sa mga Filipino students.
Tsaka alam ko based sa mga ibang documents na release, before we go, no, mga ibang documents na release, gusto rin kasi nila tignan kasi may funding din ng US na naibigay last year sa WHO. And the WHO has given money also to us for certain health programs, and the US also gave money to us for certain health programs. So they wanna look kung ano yung mga
I-consolidate.
kung ano yung mga programa, kasi galing din sa US ang pera sa WHO. Ano yung mga programang sabay sila nagbigay kasi baka dumoble din ang bigay ng US. But we hope this really gets resolved soon para yung mga kababayan natin ay can start benefiting again from this aid.
All right, coming up. Nearly all SOCMED personalities invited by House to inquiry on fake news snubbed the hearing. Now, what happens next? Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Uy, gusto ko
Happy
i-address
Wednesday.
yung kalungkutan ni Ralph.
Bakit?
Hindi, kasi, di ba, last few days na ng brunch, we will officially end our brunch telecast. 1 year din tayo halos on Friday. But
Don't you worry.
fret not, don't you worry, because on Monday,
Kami pa rin naman.
Kami pa rin naman, same time slot.
Bagong bihis.
Bagong bihis, kumbaga naghubad ng t-shirt si Brunch, nagpalit ng mula casual shirt, nagsuot ng coat and tie. So, kumbaga,
Still
pinaseryoso na lang natin ng konti. Don't worry, mag-aaway pa rin kami on air.
We still have banter.
We still have banter, but kung ano yung format,
Abangan niyo po.
Abangan niyo yan para ma-surprise kayo.
Ang importante dyan, hindi po kayo aalis sa amin. Dapat 10 to 11.
Oh,
rin.
hindi. Pero we have to invite them to
Yung-
start the
yung-
morning also with Gretchen at
Of
8.
course.
And then Kathy Yang also at 9. So that's a power-packed morning. So, idiretso na yung umaga.
Mamaya pag-usapan pa natin yan. But for the meantime, let's get right to it. A joint House panel conducted its first hearing on fake news. Now, here's a recap of what happened at the lower chamber.
Out of 40 social media personalities invited to a House hearing on fake news, only 3 resource persons showed up.
Itong mga to, ang tatapang nila eh. Ang tatapang sa pagmumura, nang wala tayong kalaban-laban. Ngayon, pag kaharap dito, hindi makaharap dito. Mga takot din pala yung mga yan eh. Elizabeth Joey Cruz, nga nakikinig po sa atin ngayon, nanonood ngayon. Humarap ka dito, kumatapang ka. Hirap sa iyo nagmumura ka nang dyan na wala kaming kalaban-laban. Humarap ka dito. Dito.
All those who did not go to the hearing have their reasons, but that did not sit well with lawmakers. Show cause orders were issued to the vloggers, including former Press Secretary Attorney Trixie Cruz Angeles, Mark Anthony Lopez, Cruzette Chu, Aaron Peña, and Elizabeth Joey Cruz. Angeles was among those who filed for temporary restraining order to question their invitation to the hearing.
Ito ay paraan para malimit yung space o yung democratic space para makapagsalita at makapagpahayag. Ito po ay garantisadong karapatan sa ilalim ng saligang batas. We feel that there is some prejudgment here. Mahalaga na dalhin namin sa tamang venue at ang venue na ito ay ang Korte Suprema.
Hindi po pwede na gawin pong rasyon ng mga yan na meron tayong freedom, na kine-curtail natin yung freedom of speech nila. Huwag niyo pong lokohin ang taong bayan. Wala hong curtailment o suppression ng freedom of speech dito. Kaya nga kayo inimbita rito eh. Diba? Kaya kayo inimbita dito para makapagpahayag din kayo.
The House panel is looking at the possibility of filing a disbarment complaint against Angeles. Meanwhile, during the hearing, the creation of a code of conduct for content creators was discussed. For Ellen Tordesillas of Verifiles, there should be ethical standards for the use of social media.
Dapat kasi pag may nakita tayong lies and falsehood, dapat
maano na tayo yung antena mo dapat mag-on at saka mag-turn off ka Kaya lang, I'm worried sometimes that we take, the lack of truthfulness, parang casually for granted. So I think we should, yun ang pinakaano ko is, I think we should strengthen our appreciation for truthfulness. Merong mga journalist na nagbablog, di ba? But blogging does not make you a journalist.
For News 5, I'm Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
Alam mo, medyo
Usapin dyan, ha?
mainit yan, pero I agree because you have to remember vlogging and social media influencing is an emerging industry. Therefore, if it's an emerging industry, parang tayo, pinaghihirapan natin yung trabaho natin, and we go by certain rules, di ba? We are free to say what we want.
Sa media kasi, as
we have certain rules.
Merong mga ethics dyan.
Yeah, I mean, we have certain rules that we go by. Some are spoken, some are written, some are unspoken. Sa kanila naman, di ba, you should also have a certain set of rules that will guide you thoroughly how to go about yourself, because let's face it, you have millions and millions of viewers in your account sa mga matataas na ito, and what you say could be taken as gospel truth by your viewers, di ba, and your followers, which is very dangerous.
Kaya nga, di ba sinasabi na, sige, freedom of expression, pero freedom of expression naman comes with accountability and responsibility. Yes. Importante na hindi porket meron akong, sabi ko rin to kanina, hindi porket meron akong kalayaan na makapagsalita, pwede na akong magsalita ng libelous against somebody.
We're not saying that they're all libelous.
No, of course
But we're
not.
saying there has to be written guidelines.
Tsaka naman ang naman dito sa invitation pa lang lamang ito di ba? So tatanungin sila, siguro di natin alam kung ano itatanong sa kanila kasi di naman sila sumipot, 'di ba? So pero yun, dumiretso na sila kaagad sa Supreme Court kasi nga curtailment nga daw ito
paano
ng
naging
freedom of
curtailment
expression.
ang invitation? 'Di ba, kung ako sa kanila, attend it. Now if they feel that they were treated unjustly, punta kayo sa Supreme Court right after. Pero experience muna the hearing. I mean, si former President Rodrigo Duterte knew that he was going to face a hostile environment sa Congress, pumunta pa rin siya. 'Di ba? So hindi ba dapat kayo susunod sa mga taong sinusuportahan nyo? Pumunta din kayo. And if you feel na kino-curtail ang freedom of speech mo, then you speak out after. Pero wala pang nangyayari, kinurtail na kayo.
Tapos alam ko may isa pang personality, social media personality ang nag-point out. I just forgot lang kung anong pangalan niya, na pinoint out niya na kaya lang naman nagsimula itong probe na to on fake news or disinformation kasi kiniklaim nitong mga congressman supposedly, allegedly, na biktima rin sila ng fake news. So sinasabi, dapat daw nagsistem yung of course, yung ganitong concern, hindi dapat para lang sa kanila, but also for the other people. And we have to remember as well, going back, na itong mga hearing na to ay supposedly for in aid of legislation. Diba? In aid of legislation. So let's see, diba, kung ano yung po pwedeng magawa natin dito na batas. Yeah. Sabi nila, wag daw batas Kasi batas ang gagawin dito, siguro mga parang somehow rules and regulation, wag daw gawing batas. Yun ang sinasabi ng iba.
No, tsaka lastly, before we move on to other topics, kailangan din pag-usapan dito. Ganito kasimple po, not everyone naman ng mga vlogger or influencer nag-fake news. Pero very dangerous ang practice ng ginagawa sa karamihan sa mga social media influencer by practicing clickbait titles. You have to remember, not everyone reads content or watches the entire video. So, ang clickbait mo, you're stating something. Usually kasi, you'll state something sila, tapos iba ang content.
Iba pala yung content.
Ang problema, iba sa atin, kunyari sabihin mo, walang pasok. Yan ang headline mo sa video mo. Yung pala, walang pasok last year, sasabihin niya. O, walang pasok 2 years ago. May mga ganun ako na-encounter.
That's why it's also our responsibility, tayo yung mga nagbabasa din sa social media, na i-double check ninyo. Diba yung mga...
No, but I'm just saying, the responsibility also lies in the person who produces the content. We as journalists, news anchors, and in broadcast media, we practice as much as possible. Our networks give us the freedom to talk, but we have to practice restraint, responsibility. We also practice truthfulness and accountability. So kayo, social media influencers, you should also have a certain set of rules that will hold you accountable kung nagkamali kayo.
Oo. Basta ako gusto ko magkaroon talaga tayo ng pagkakaisa pagdating sa fake news tsaka disinformation. Kasi napakarami talaga ngayon sa social media. Hindi mo mabilang na makikita mo yung mga gumagawa ng social media pages about a certain person or a certain news related topic. Tapos pagkita mo, sobrang ang dami yung mga misinformation or disinformation na nakalagay doon. Alright, let's continue.
Bilang Pilipino, bilang Pilipino.
The COMELEC is allowing warrantless arrest on vote buying and vote selling for the midterm elections. The poll body said even ordinary citizens may carry out the arrest if candidates are caught in the act. But still, it is better to ask for assistance from authorities. The COMELEC also noted that illegal election materials will be seized. Vote buying and vote selling are considered as election offenses under the Section 262 of the Omnibus Election Code.
Kung yung aarestuhin ay caught in flagrante delicto. Ang ibig sabihin po nun, sa ating mga kababayan, caught in the act, yan po ay implied lagi. Implied. Ibig sabihin, sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema, pinapayagan po ang citizen's arrest.
Oh, yan.
Pinapayagan citizen arrest, pero to be safe, ha?
Oo.
Maybe you can call their attention, tapos tumalikod ka na lang, maghanap ka ng
Pero
police.
yung iba nga, gusto nila yung magsusumbong na lang anonymously kasi they also fear for their lives. Kasi
yes, correct.
sinasabi nila,
Or,
baka mamaya yung may kakayahan na magbayad or bumili ng boto, iba rin ang pag-iisip, di ba?
Or siguro, di ba, yung ganyan ka.
Oo.
Di ba, kunin mo yung video. Kasi sinabi na ni COMELEC Chairman George Garcia at saka ni spokesperson attorney Rex Laudianco, you can send the videos and pictures anonymously to COMELEC and they will do the investigating. You don't have to name yourself. Basta give them the tip and they will check the veracity of your report. Ganun kasimple lang yun.
Mahirap din kasi yung di ba kasi sabi nga nila na sila sa tawag doon yung fear nila sa kanilang
Basta
safety. Pero
kapain nyo yung sitwasyon.
oo,
Kapain
kahit
nyo.
natatakot kay importante, doon pa rin tayo sa tama, 'di ba? So kasi
Unless-
ang dami kasi ngayon talagang nagkalat na rin ng iba't ibang pamamaraan ng vote buying. And na-discuss naman yan sa atin ni COMELEC Chairman George Garcia doon sa The Grill,
yeah,
'di ba? So ngayon pa may mga online application, 'di ba, na
E-wallets.
mag-send ng mga pera. All right. Now, in other news, the Chinese embassy in Manila has refuted Philippine ambassador to the U.S. Babe Romualdez's claim that he discussed the alleged hacking of his phone with Chinese ambassador Wang Xilian. The embassy said Wang was surprised by Romualdez's remarks, noting that the two diplomats have not met in some time. Romualdez made the claim during a forum at an American university where he recounted a conversation with Wang. He said Wang laughed when he mentioned his phone being hacked several times, which led to several replacements. Oo, parang nasabi niya na Ambassador Romualdez, nasabi niya he's on his fourth phone replacement na because of allegedly hacking.
Sabi naman ng Chinese side na they haven't met in some time pero baka wala naman atang sinabing timeline si Ambassador Romualdez. Baka naman yung what Ambassador Romualdez meant, the last time they met something might have happened like that.
Well,
we don't know.
He needs to clear that up. Pero yun nga sinasabi, according daw kasi dun sa kanyang US intelligence friends, yung kanyang phone daw has been target of hacking. No? So, and nabanggit na rin niya noon pa na anong 2023, if I'm not mistaken, ever since daw umupo ang PBBM administration, yung mga key government officials of this administration our target has been the target of
espionage.
Hacking. So, they have to look at that. Kasi sinasabi, di ba nagkaroon din tayo dito ng mga usapin, kaya nag-guess natin yung mga taga-DICT dahil may mga ilang government websites tayo na supposedly na-try or tinry na i-hack.
Yeah.
Pero hindi naman nakakuha ng mga important information.
And we even talked about that nung last year, nung guest natin si former Senator Gringo Honasan. This has been happening also.
Oy nga pala, balikan ko lang kanina tungkol sa social media natin na topic. Yung mga trolls din, yan ang importanteng diba? Ma-address. Dahil napakaraming troll farms. And even sinasabi na allegedly, mga marketing ad or yung mga ad PR agency daw, nagta-hire din daw ng mga
trolls.
Pero allegedly, no? Of course, hindi pa
Ano ba yan?
natin alam.
Emerging business ba yan? Troll farm.
Maraming troll farms. Alright.
Alright, don't go away because we're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Happy Wednesday, everyone. All right, let's move on to the news. The restaurant owners of the Philippines, or Resto PH, called out the, quote, widespread abuse of fake PWD IDs for discounts. Now, the group explained that the 20% discount is not subsidized by the government, but is instead shouldered by businesses. Resto PH emphasized that the issue extends beyond lost revenue, affecting employees, food quality, and menu prices. In an interview with a Big Story, Resto PH President Emeritus Eric Teng revealed that more than half of the PWD IDs presented in restaurants are fake.
We've been having dialogues with our mayors. We've had dialogues with former Secretary Abalos of the ILG. And recently we had a hearing with Senator Gatchalian and Secretary Rex Gatchalian of the DSWD. And we're very happy that Senator Gatchalian has seen the massive losses in tax revenues.
Right.
By his estimates, it was over 88 billion pesos. And by their estimates also, potentially up to 8 million fake PWD cards are in circulation. The population of persons with disability in the Philippines is actually less than 2 million. So that's it's easy for us to now believe our own assessment that more than half of the cards we see being presented at our restaurants are actually fake.
I remember, di ba, I told you about it na yung ang government natin ay nawawala ng, yun nga, 88 billion dahil dito sa gumagamit ng mga fake PWD IDs. Kasi they get supposedly 20% discount di ba, dun sa services and food na
Pero,
nila.
kasi, first of all, we have to increase yung features nitong PWD IDs. And it goes back to our discussion. I remember, ang dami kasing relevant ito with our discussion with former Senator Gringo Honasan.
Yes.
He said if the government, all government agencies and LGUs are interconnected with each other. So for example, may nag-present ng PWD ID, di ba? Skinan mo sa QR code. The system determines that it is fake. Real time, nabe-verify sa system ng government kung fake to o hindi. Because interconnected ang LGU, ang sabi mo ang PSA, ang DSWD, they're all connected with each other. So mag-feed yung system, oy wait, wala yan sa sistema. Made-determine ka agad fake. Then and there, pwede nang i-call out na the ID should be rejected. Diba? So there it goes na we have to modernize our system as well na talaga.
Nag-ugat din ulit kasi na pag-usapan ulit tong usapin na to dahil of course nag-release din ng statement ang DOJ na hindi na daw kailangan pa na humingi ng additional ID sa mga PWD kung gagamit sila ng PWD IDs. Ang problema kasi nga, ito nga yung sinasabi nila na ang daming fake IDs ngayon. So ngayon, ang titingnan mo dyan also, anong klaseng fake ID ba to? Kasi diba pinag-usapan natin dito before and also with one of our guests from NCDA, yung kanilang executive director doon, si Ma'am Glenn, ay talamak talaga yung bentahan ng fake IDs o PWD IDs sa Facebook. Pero yun nga, tingnan natin kung anong klaseng fake IDs ito. Ito sa screen.
Tingnan mo sa screen. Itong fake IDs kasi and real IDs, they both have a QR code. Pero I remember sa isang report that yung mga fake, usually pag binaril mo yung QR code, hindi magre-register or ibang ID ang lumalabas. So kunyari, De La Cruz ang name mo, na-scan mo yung QR code, ibang nakalink pala yung QR code sa ibang name. And usually, may instance daw na the QR code released the same name, ibang IDs.
Yes.
So in other words, talagang merong gumagawa ng ganitong
meron pang
modus operandi.
That's why I'm telling you kanina kasi I wanna go to the point na meron ding fake na mali yung declaration ng health. No? Example, tama yung ID. Tama yung ID, kinuha sa munisipyo, di ba? Kunyari, Quezon City Hall, tama, kumuha siya. Pero yung binigay niyang medical certificate, fake. Pwede rin yun,
Ay,
di
ano
ba?
yun?
So, dapat, imbestigahan din yun. Kasi may mga incidents na gano'n.
I know what you're saying. Yun, fake person yun.
Fake person yun,
No, may
di ba?
meke. So ibang, I think that's a relevant, same relevant but different issue.
Yeah, oo. Pero
it
kasi
hits the, number one, tama ka doon. You have to
Kasi
determine.
kukuha din siya ng 20% eh.
Kaya nga dapat i-centralize per sino ba talaga magbibigay ng
ID.
ng ID.
Kung
Is it
kung ako dapat
NCDA or
na lang.
LGU?
Kasi before, parang ang listahan nasa DOH. Sobrang daming ginagawa ng DOH. Ibigay na nila daw yan. Ibibigay daw nila sa
Kasi di ba
sa
sabi nila, you can get your ID sa LGU Health Office. Because
NCDA po is National Council on Disability Affairs.
kasi I remember saying ng NCDA noon na minsan kasi yung mga taga-LGU, sila ang nakakaalam
Yes,
kung sino
meron kasi
yung
ang
may
NCDA,
PWD.
meron silang PDAW per LGU.
per LGU,
Philippine, Persons with Disability Affairs
Affairs
Office.
Office. Sila
So
ang-
sila yung nakakaalam ng mga listahan. Sila yung nagko-consolidate kung, dito kunyari, per Mandaluyong, we have 100 PWDs here. 'Di ba? At saka syempre, iba-ibang mga, iba-ibang identifier kung bakit siya PWD.
So kunyari ako yon, hindi ako PWD and I get an ID from PDAW and it is released, linoko ko sila. Technically, the ID is not fake. That is a real ID.
Real ID.
That is another big problem we have to face. So we have the problem of fake ID and we have a problem of people
Selling
faking.
fake IDs, 500, 500 per ID.
And we
yan
have
online,
people
Facebook.
faking disabilities to get IDs
Yes,
as well.
oo. At meron din mga kasabot inside. May mga ganung din, allegation eh.
Di namin sinasabi lahat,
Oo, may
but
allegation.
it's happening.
These are all allegations. And kailangan matignan also.
Because we're losing a lot of money from
Oo. At
yung-
saka hindi lang yun. Yung
this
nakukuhanan mo, yung talagang may kailangan. Diba? Yung totoong mga PWD.
Teka lang,
Bakit?
ugat mo, lumalabas na.
All right, moving forward now to another news. The Bureau of Internal Revenue was able to meet its collection target for the first time in 20 years. The details in this report by mobile journalist Julie Baiza.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. issues a strong warning against tax evaders. During the 2025 Bureau of Internal Revenue National Tax Campaign kick-off at the Philippine International Convention Center, PBBM said that the government is committed to hold them accountable.
The fight against tax fraud is also making significant progress. The run after fake transactions led to the filing of cases against ghost sellers and buyers and the collection of more than 4.3 billion pesos. I've said this before. We will hold those who continue to circumvent our system accountable.
The president mentioned that the government's move against fake transactions led to the filing of cases against ghost sellers and buyers. He added that crackdowns on illicit trade in cigarettes, vapes, and other excisable goods also led to the collection of more than 110 million last year. PBBM then proudly announced that the BIR was able to meet its collection target for the first time in 20 years.
In 2024, the Bureau collected more than 2.85 trillion pesos, which is higher than the 2.52 trillion pesos that we collected in 2023. Ano po ba ang ibig sabihin nito sa ating mga kababayan? Ang buwis ng ating inihulog noong nakaraang taon ay katumbas ng lagpas na 1 milyong bagong paaralan, 190,000 kilometro ng kalsada, o di naman ay 100 at 67,000 rural health facility.
The chief executive likewise renewed his call for Filipinos to pay the correct taxes.
Ang bawat mamamayang sumusunod sa tamang pagbayad ng buwis ay nagiging bahagi sa ating pag-unlad.
Meanwhile, the president also met with officials from the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority to discuss the comprehensive traffic management plan for Metro Manila and its nearby provinces. According to the Presidential Communications Office, the CTMP aims to establish an exclusive, people-oriented, sustainable mobility system. Mobile Journal Julie Baiza, We Are One News.
Yan, magbayad kayo ng tax. Ang daming mga tax evader ngayon. Ang daming mga kababayan natin ngayon, nagbabayad naman talaga. Napaubo na si Diego.
Ako tubig.
Oo, uminom ka muna ng tubig.
Sino ka?
Importante.
De, joke lang.
Importante na magbayad ng tax. Sa totoo yan. Ang daming mga big corporations also ang
Pero parang
umiiwas.
dito kasi parang yung mga online transactions ang natutuntun eh. Ang dami kasi nabebentang goods from China na pumapasok dito na minsan wala nang tax eh. Wala nang tax sa ibabayad. So, hindi natin nakokolekta yon. But let's move on to other news. The Trade Department approves the price increase for over 60 basic goods. The prices of canned sardines, canned meat, milk, bread, and some other basic goods will increase between 2 to 9%. The cost of Pinoy Tasty, thank you. The cost of Pinoy Tasty will go up by 3 pesos and 50 centavos, going up to 44 pesos from the current 40 pesos. The price of Pinoy Pandesal, on the other hand, will climb to 27 pesos, 25 centavos from the current 25 pesos for a 10-piece pack. The DTI noted that only 62 items were allowed price hikes when there are 217 basic and prime commodities being monitored.
Grabe ha. 25 to 27 pesos sa pandesal.
Yung ganito,
Hindi ko alam to, si JR yung bumili.
yung ganito, nabutan ko po itong 5 pesos. Mga 10 na yan. 950.
Oo.
Mga 950 per piece.
Grabe, ang taas talaga ng... Kaya talaga hindi mo masisisi yung mga kababayan natin that they want yung taasan yung sweldo nila because of the inflation. Sa taas talaga ng mga bilihin. But right now...
Oh, sa mga nalulungkot.
Oh, get ready to start your mornings with a fresh light up. 3 brand new morning shows are set to premiere on One News this Monday, February 10. Mobile Journal Amy Atienza has the report.
One News is set to launch 3 new morning shows starting February 10. This includes Morning Matters with Gretchen Ho, which will run from 8 until 9 in the morning. In a press conference, Ho shared it is her first solo news program and that her goal is to start the day strong.
Napaka-simple lang ng aking goal. Makatulong ako sa aming organisasyon para mapalakas pa yung paghahatid ng balita.
Meanwhile, renowned business journalist Kathy Yang is making her television comeback after 4 years. Starting next week, Yang will be hosting Money Talks, the business news program of One News. This is set from 9:30 until 10 in the morning.
It actually comes at a very critical time kasi nga, yung launch natin, February 10, it will start of the campaign period for national elective posts. And one cannot separate politics from business.
The Castros, Angela Castro and Diego Castro, will also continue their stint in One News with News and Views. The news program aims to give more context on relevant social issues in the country and have meaningful conversations about different topics. It will run from 10 to 11 in the morning.
Gusto lang namin na mabigyan ng konteksto din lahat ng balita. At at the end of the day, yung mga nanonood sa atin, mag-discern nila kung ano ba yung tama para sa kanila.
We will present factual news, but also our opinions will come into play. So parang may kape, may dialogue, but you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And then the viewer can decide who had a better argument.
As the 2025 national and local elections draw near, the anchors look forward to more contextualized news that may help their viewers be responsible voters. All new morning programs will air during weekdays. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza, we are One News.
Alam mo, it's truly exciting for us to be bundled with, the term bundled with, other fellow journalists who are also credible, very credible in their fields and seasoned as well, na kahilera mo sila at one morning to strengthen ang ibibigay ng One News sa inyo.
Totoo. Ako, pinapanood ko lang si Diego Castro noon. Pinapanood ko lang si Miss Cathy Yang. Pero hindi, kidding aside, of course, we're very happy and we're very proud and honored that we are given a chance to do this with others, diba? Dito sa morning block natin. Sabi nga nila, Gretchen will start the morning strong. Miss Cathy will continue the morning profitable.
Make your mornings profitable.
Oo, and us, diba dito sa...
We'll end the morning block with a bang.
Yun.
Oo, ayan.
So abangan niyo po yan. That's going to be on February 10. That's Next week already.
Oh,
Diba?
So, 1 year of brunch.
Maraming salamat sa mga brunch.
What's-
Sa Friday na tayo magpaalam.
Oo.
Baka umiyak pa tayo.
Wow, kala mo nawala. Diba?
Kala mo nawala eh.
Magkapatid naman yan. Tapos na si Brunch, graduate na. Ito naman next ang papaaralin
College
natin.
na.
College na si News and News. Thank you sa mga viewers natin pala na nag-comment sa social media accounts natin. Relax lang kayo.
Kasama
diba?
pa rin namin kayo. Don't you worry.
Titindi pa ang mga talakayan. Alright. And that wraps up today's... Anes, may babatiin ka?
No, wala na.
Ko doon. Wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Castro.
And
he's Angelo Castro III.
We are One News. Pay your
All
taxes.
sides,
All sides, all the time.